I've never sat down with someone who ran for president. How do you do that? How do you literally run for president? Like, who do you call? Like,
when we decided, that's what I did. So I called some people.
Who is we? Like, give me the whole...
and I, my wife and I.
So you and your wife have a conversation because she's
going to conversations over a month. Yeah, we
this is a mudslinging contest too.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get run through the mud.
Yep.
Like, literally, your wife, your family, they're going to go after everybody. So you got to ask, I'm sure, like, for their blessing, bare minimum.
Yes. That was the one. My kids are too young to be able to process it. But
you guys are
the
successful.
one person that has a veto is my wife.
And she was like, I'm down.
She was initially like, "Are we sure we can't do this later in life?"
Because the kids are young, or
yeah,
because
the kids are young. And also we've just kind of hit a place. We had just kind of hit a place where, I was building a company for a long time. We had finally. That's its own slog. She had been through residency. She was a surgical resident. Actually, she did her training in New York, all that stuff.
Everything.
Finished her fellowship, and she's got a great academic post. We had just had our second son. We were at the place where it's like, okay, like this feels like a destination we've been working to for a long time.
And we are gonna just
and now we're just gonna mix it up. Yeah, exactly. And are we gonna think? I think our first reaction was like, she's biased. She's married to me, but I believe you would be a good leader for this country.
Okay, so
and
you
I
get the
understand.
approval.
Can we do this later? And then we talked through it, and I think we both convinced ourselves into why it had to be now with the sense of urgency.
When do you tell her that you're going to spend your own money? Because
she didn't care about that. She doesn't care about that. She does not care. she's not. What kind of wife is this? She really.
How much fucking money you got?
She really doesn't. She really doesn't.
950 mil.
Yeah.
What the
950 mil. You know what I mean?
Oh, are you a Bill? Do you got the B?
On a given day. Depends on the day.
Really?
Depends what the market's doing on a given day.
That's a fire answer, dude.
Wikipedia was hated on.
It's like a borderline kind of
Wikipedia
situation.
was
Bro.
like 9.987 or
Oh,
something.
trying to pull an Akaash.
I think it's probably an
there,
advantage
depending
to
on
be
the day.
flying like right under the radar. We've given away enough.
Okay,
money.
so you got the B.
Yeah.
You've built the businesses. There's nothing left to
It's like a
accomplish
lowercase
over
B.
there. You got
It's
the
not like
lowercase.
not like one of the 50
Yeah, you
billion
broke
people.
boy.
Yeah. It's a very lowercase
hold
B.
on.
Yeah.
So you've done everything you need to do in the business sector. Okay, is there? I'm sure you have ambition to make sure the country reaches its full potential. Or restore it to its full potential, just as an American. You have pride, I'm sure you have that. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. Is there also a part of you that just as a man is like, I want a passion, I want something to do? Like, what makes somebody who has all that money
Yeah. Put
yourself through that?
It's always
fucking hard. People try
My
to...
wife could probably give you a better answer about me than I give you about me, but I think that there's a book by Viktor Frankl. I don't know if you've read. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. I read it in high school. You familiar with it? I went to St. Xavier in Cincinnati, and it was sort of spiritual book. And anyway, I think all of us have an innate hunger for purpose, right? To feel like what we're doing here in the short time that we're given is meaningful.
Yeah.
And I think that each of us also has our own unique God-given gifts.
Yeah.
And I think the true source of satisfaction is matching, at least for me, and my sense is it's probably true for most people, is matching what your unique God-given gifts are to your sense of purpose
in the world, yeah.
And if you can match those two things,
It's an exciting thing.
that's much more, that is sort of true self-actualization.
Yeah.
That is true liberation more than whether it's a bigger case B or a lowercase b. And so, for me, that match felt like it was in leading this country. And weird as it sounded, and most people say it's terrible, I was pretty convinced we were going to succeed at this.
I mean, I hope.
Like when we're setting out. But even at like 0.0, nobody, I thought it's not like we're going to go and see where this goes. I thought that this is going to end with, I think I have the right vision. I have deep conviction in it. I believe that most people in this country, if they don't see it today, can be made to see that. And ended up getting 8%, rounded up. And so there were some structural reasons for that this time around. But I think that nonetheless, that was what motivated me. You're asking a question about the politics or the analysis of it, but what compelled me, that's what I felt is the unique
Was it exciting?
confluence. Yes.
Did you love every single day?
I loved most days. Not every single day.
Right.
But I loved most days.
What were unexpected
yeah, like-
challenges of the campaign that you didn't see?
Yeah, what was the shit?
I mean, it's gonna sound so stupid when I say it because it's like
that'd
should have been obvious.
They're the first time for everything.
No,
So
it is like, I mean, the influence of mega money on politics.
Break it down when you first felt it.
When I understood the dynamic of dealing with mega donors, actually, it's sort of disgusting. Actually, so I spent $30 million. It's a lot of our
You spent
hard-earned
$30
money.
million
30
of your dollars.
close to 30. Yeah,
Rounding
yeah, right about.
Oh,
right
he
on
could
30.
do that. His life
30,
let him do
okay.
that.
I just wanna
That's
write that
nothing to
down.
him.
Might have been
That's
like
us buying a
29.5 or
watch.
something, but something like that.
30 million.
And
To lose.
yes,
The fuck, man?
I know, man. You're really
Could've
twisting
gave
the
me
knife here.
15, bro. Twisting the knife.
You're twisting the knife.
No, just joking.
But
Take the delta between your net worth and our net worth.
but you know, it's. I mean, at a certain point, like,
Can you
what's,
write that
what's
off?
the point?
There's gotta be
No,
something
no
like-
write off. No write off.
So you spend that 30.
Yeah, it's just out the door, not coming
and
back.
never coming back at all.
Yeah.
And
But
your wife, how
she
did
does
you
not
train
care
her
about-
to be like this?
She just doesn't. She's just not into. She's not that into like stuff. Actually,
She's also a doctor on
She's
her
not
own,
into
so
She's a
stuff.
like,
surgeon.
Yeah,
I think she's good.
The thing is,
case, I'm
she's.
fine.
I mean, the thing is, actually, many of the procedures she does, we have
I
such a
bought Mark
broken
dinner
healthcare
once.
system.
My wife was like, "Why?" 30. If I spent $30 million,
I ordered double though. I was bulking. I was
damn.
You got a tomahawk steak right
Okay, go.
So anyway, I think that, yeah, I mean, we don't, you know, that's our sense of, that for me was a sense of purpose,
Yep.
is what I would say. It's like, I believe God's given me unique gifts
Yep.
in this category to use them. I believe that there's a purpose that needs to be fulfilled, and I'm here to fulfill. And that's what gave me my sense of deep satisfaction about this. And she was super supportive of it, largely because she's doing the same thing. Like, I think, actually, the last time we had a conversation like that was in reverse, believe it or not, was when, so our first son, Karthik, was born in, I talked about this in, actually, you might not have gotten to that part yet.
Did she
You're
go
not the
back
woke
to
age.
school after their kid?
She doesn't go back to school. She's in residency. So she's finishing her residency
Yeah, I didn't
here
get to this.
at Cornell. It's in the last chapter, I forgot. In Cornell, Columbia here. She's an ear, nose, throat surgeon, but she specializes in throat surgery.
Okay.
So she's an airway surgeon. And he's born in February of 2020, which is an interesting time to be born in New York City. He's born on February 23rd, 2020. And that was like literally the week after that is when that first wave
Spike.
hit New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, people went COVID policy crazy in this country in the next couple of years. But that first wave in New York City, I don't know if you guys were here then.
Oh, yeah, it was panic.
That was not a joke.
Yeah,
yeah. And the hospitals were super overfilled. So she had just had an emergency C-section at Columbia on February 23rd, 2020. And yet she's an airway surgeon. Okay?
Fuck.
And so they're short-staffed at the hospital. They've got patients piling up. Every operating room is converted into an ICU. And there's literally a lot of older people included, like, gonna die unless there's people who are able to help them with the skill set she's been given. And she's very good at what she does. And so in some sense of the union of our God-given skills and our sense of purpose, for her, that was March of 2020. So a little over 3 weeks in, after emergency C-section, she could take 6 months off if she wants to for maternity leave, or at least 6 weeks. She goes back. So she's in the operating room less than 4 weeks after giving emergency C-section. And back then, nobody
good stuff.
amazing.
nobody
This is good
knew
stuff.
Yeah.
nobody knew what this was back then.
Have you told people this?
How
yet?
you
Not a lot
not tell
of
the
people.
story
This
till
is
you
good
lost, yo?
stuff.
Come
Not a
on.
lot of people,
Yeah,
but
this is, we're too
next
late
time
in to
we're
hear
gonna
this.
go.
Yeah.
This is
I
good
mean-
stuff. Move over, Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
This is.
so I'm a biotech CEO. I'm CEO of Roivant here.
We don't care.
Yeah, we're
She's a doctor.
I know.
For your wife.
I'm like, don't forget about me, guys.
Vote.
So I brought that up because I had been traveling the whole prior year, and so she had to have when I talked about the sit-down conversation I had with her, she had the sit-down conversation with me. Is like, listen, I have to go do this.
That's fucking amazing.
We have a son. He's 3 weeks old. We don't know what's going to happen if I'm doing open airway surgery, and we don't know what this virus is. I need you. It wasn't really a question. It was sort of like, I need you.
gotta do it.
I need you to step up and do this.
Wow.
So I took our little man. We already knew we were going to settle back in Ohio. We had moved to Ohio late the year before. She was just finishing up her residency here and happened to give birth here because that's where the doctor was. So I took him, and I was single father for what was going to be a few weeks, but then she ended up predictably whatever, she got sick. Nobody knew what it was. It wasn't a big deal. her father also got sick. He was also a surgeon and was taking care of patients. He ended up in the ICU. She's there with a couple weeks, and she continues to do airway surgery, open airway surgery for people who are sick. Ended up being about 2 months where I'm playing solo single father of what was our 1 month to 3 month old son during those period of time. And I think it still hurts Apurva today that she missed those 2 months.
I mean,
She's
it's
not
such
going
an
to get it
amazing
back.
example for your son. Like, it's
When he
incredible.
grows up, he'll grow to appreciate it. She was shipping him breast milk, during that period. Yeah, yeah,
Goodness.
absolutely. But for us, that was our conviction that she has a skill set. God put her here to do it. She did her job and did her duty. And so for me, when we, 2.5 or 3 years later, I had a similar. It felt like the same conversation in
Go
reverse.
time.
The nation is sick.
And she didn't take a beat other than to say, "Are you sure we can't do this later?" We talked through that, and she says, "Great."
Also, guys, don't forget about Prize Picks. Hurry up and sign up. NFL playoffs is the best time of the year. This is what you got to do. I'm giving you my Singh locks. First of all, this is a 4-player thing. So it's a 4-player pick. So if you hit, you can make some cash off of Prize Picks. First of all, Isaiah Pacheco will get more than 63.5 rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes will get more than 248.5 passing yards. Travis Kelce, I love you. I love what you're doing with Taylor Swift, but I think you're going to get less than 65 receiving yards. And Lamar Jackson, MVP, I think you're going to get more than 212 passing yards. And sign up for prizepicks.com. Use that promo code Schulz. They will match your initial deposit up to $100. So you put in $100, you get $100 for free.